We're going to call the meeting to order. If we can get Frank and Linda to come up. Madam Clerk, can you call roll call, please? I know I'm starting out of order on it, but
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The mayor has called the regular meeting of Thursday, September 14th, 2023, 7 p.m. to order. At this time, we will call for the invocation. And I will deliver the invocation this evening. Please stand. Let us pray. September is among us. The children are back in school. Families are gathering together for the fall. Let us always remember to be cautious and careful and mindful of those we see around us, and ensure the safety and security of our most vulnerable is always in our minds and hearts. Amen.
and we have for our pledge tonight, we have Alexa, Maria, and Russell Lingad to lead us.
Please face the flag, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, tonight, you can do the roll call now. Thank you.
At this time, the roll call will be conducted. Council and Agency Member Johnson.
Present.
Council and Agency Member Vo.
Present.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki.
Present.
Mayor and Chair Barros.
Present. And at this time, I'd like to call on our city attorney to make an announcement regarding the closed session bill. We're going to take item 12A and B out of order at this time.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Pursuant to Section 8.09 of the City Council Protocol Manual, concurrence from the Council is asked for a reordering of the agenda items for tonight's meeting. As part of the City Manager recruitment process, it is recommended for tonight's meeting that the Council recess to closed session prior to Agenda Item 5A to discuss closed session items 12A and 12B on the agenda. The closed session agenda items are for the deliberations by Council relating to the selection criteria and appointment of the next City Manager, in which certain information should be shared with the Council in closed session before consideration of the balance of the open session, including new and old business session item 9C. If the Council chooses to move closed session items 12A and 12B, then it is appropriate for the Council to open public comment immediately before recessing if there are any members of the public who wish to speak only on closed session items 12A and 12B. Otherwise, general public comments can be heard when the Council reconvenes in open session. Thank you, Mayor, and members of the Council. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, are there any questions? Hearing none. Just to reiterate, we're going to open for public comments just on this item. And once we reconvene, we'll come back and do our normal 5A and B, which is presentations, recognitions, and so on. And then we'll go to public comments, just in general. So is there anyone that wishes to address the council on 12A and 12B? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close public
And
comment.
we on this item too.
Yes,
Yes.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think we should do this, we recess to closed session before item 9. All these people are here. Why don't we hear all the matters up through item 8 and recess to closed session after item 8?
Okay, just to make it clear, we're doing this so the people here that have come to hear this, and it's an important item, but we do have consensus. We'll go to closed session right this minute. Thank you. if we have our city attorney report out the actions of closed session.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and members of the council. As the council is aware, items number 12A and 12B concerning the public employment and public employee appointment for the position of city manager was discussed. I'm here to report out that the council concluded its deliberations as part of the city manager recruiting process, and pursuant to Government Code Section 54953 subdivision C3 and 54957.1, the following is reported out from the closed session. On motion of Mayor Pro Tem Solanki, seconded by Councilmember Johnson, the City Council voted 4-1 with Councilmember Yokoyama voting no to appoint Robert A. Lopez as the next city manager of the City of Cerritos. The City Council concluded deliberations concerning the deal points for an employment agreement with Robert Lopez as the next city manager, which may be summarized as follows. Commencing on November 4, 2023, Mr. Lopez will replace retiring city manager Art Galucci. Mr. Lopez's annual salary will be $272,043, subject to any COLA increases as the council may authorize for the city's department directors. Mr. Lopez's benefits package upon becoming city manager will be the same as those available to the city's department directors. And Mr. Lopez's pension packages as authorized under PERS and PARS will remain in place and be carried forward. Other common terms and conditions relating to public agency executive employment are to be included as agreed upon by the City Council. And at this time, Mayor and members of the council, I again ask for consensus to reorder another item on the agenda, new and old business agenda item number 9C, which is concerning an announcement of the next city manager. And with consensus, the council could then consider that item and then afterwards return to the balance of its agenda.
Okay, are there any questions for our attorney? Hearing none, we'll open for public comments on 9C.
Do we need a consensus on 9C?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just went right to it.
Yes.
Yeah, I give consensus to reorder the agenda to remove up 9C.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
okay. Now we'll go ahead and do that. Are there any questions on 9C? Hearing none, we'll open public comments for 9C concerning the appointment of Robert Lopez. Congratulations. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council at this time? Seeing none, we'll close public comments and look to council for direction or comments.
We're commenting on that.
Move to
On
approve.
9C.
I have comments.
Go ahead.
Okay. Congratulations, Robert. So I'd like to acknowledge former senior assistant city manager Tori Contreras on his 30 years of service to the city of Cerritos, a place where he grew up and where he raised his family. Everywhere we look around Cerritos, we will be reminded of Tori, his talent, his vision, and hard work to beautify our city in such places such as the Los Cerritos Shopping Center expansion, featuring Harkins Theater, Dick's Sporting Goods, Cheesecake Factory, and Nordstrom, the Plaza 183 remodel and landscape renovation project featuring Nordstrom Rack, Saks Off Fifth, Skechers, and Frida, the Home Depot Shopping Center remodel and landscape renovation project featuring In-N-Out Burger, the Ralph Shopping Center remodel and landscape renovation project featuring the former Orchard Supply Hardware, the Target Greatland and Target Bloomfield remodel, expansion, and landscape renovation projects, and the Fountain Plaza remodel and landscape renovation project. Tori's fingerprints will be seen all over the city. As a 52-year resident in Cerritos, living here since 1971, I am grateful for the 30 years that Tori dedicated to this city to help make it one of the premium cities in the region. I personally want to thank Tori Contreras for all he has done to make Cerritos a great place to live. It's no secret that I have been advocating for Tori to become our next city manager. However, as I realized that was not the direction we were going, I also realized that I needed to do what was best for our residents, and that was to show unity on our council as we deliberated to choose the next city manager. I fully endorse our council decision to appoint Robert Lopez as our next city manager. He will have my full support as he takes the helm to become the city's next leader. Congratulations, Robert. I look forward to working with you to make Cerritos the best in the region. Congratulations.
Are there other comments?
Yes, please.
Certainly.
Congratulations, Robert. Yes, former senior assistant city manager Tori Contreras served our city of Cerritos, served the residents of Cerritos, served the employees of Cerritos, served the businesses of Cerritos for about 30 years. And he was loyal and hardworking, and oftentimes the best man in this room, the best person in this room, serving the needs of Cerritos at that time. And I will emphasize one more time, he was loyal to the city of Cerritos for 30 years. And the Cerritos City Council should have been loyal to him. I'm happy that Tori Contreras will be the city manager of the city of Bandon, Oregon, best known for its majestic coastline, annual Cranberry Festival, and world-class golf courses. The city of Bandon's gain is the city of Cerritos' loss. I wish Tori Contreras and his family the best. I know that the city of Cerritos is in good hands with Robert Lopez, because for most of Tori's 30 years of loyal employment with the city of Cerritos, he worked hand in hand, side by side with Robert Lopez. Thank you to Tori Contreras, and thank you to Robert Lopez.
Thank you for your comments.
Congratulations, Robert.
Okay. Chung, are you there?
I am. And I also want to say thank you to Tori Contreras for his services as well, and a big congratulations to our new city manager starting November 4th. Thank you.
Robert, I've known you for quite some time
You
now.
take a motion, right?
Yeah, in just a
Oh,
second.
sorry.
And I do wish you well. Tori, I've looked fondly upon him for a lot of years, and the work that he's accomplished. But during these years, that was under the leadership of our city manager, who has accomplished many, many things. And we were just looking at the press release that's our staff has prepared, and I mentioned Art that we probably need to add another 5 pages of single space typing to list all the things that have been accomplished. And I've known Art since he was assistant city manager, and got to know him and watch him work, and the results of the negotiations that happened on behalf of the city. The prior city manager didn't like to negotiate. That was Art's job, to be the bad guy. And it's worked out very well for the city. And Robert, you have big shoes to fill, and I think you realize that. I have met so many business people coming to the city, CEOs of companies. Everyone says the same thing. And the firm I used to work for, it says as soon as you drove across our border, you knew you were in a different city. And I was mentioning Lockheed Martin was kind of following what I was doing at SCAG for a number of years. And they heard about our city and they came down. They said, they wanted to have someone come do some work for them for a few years, which I did after I was termed out of council. That was, good recognition, for me. But what I point out to them is that there's nothing here that would have happened without our employees and the leadership that Art had. And it goes back to all the prior councils and the prior city managers. We've accomplished a lot. So, Robert, we're expecting a lot. And that's, the urgent reason why we took the time to, really look and search. And then, it came down to you. But anyway, you said you did want to make a motion.
I think Councilman Wu already made a motion. I'll second that.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear it. I'm sorry, Chung. Okay, there's a motion second. Vita, can we do a roll call, please?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. At this time, a motion has been made by Councilmember Vo and seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Solanki to approve staff's recommendation. And I will read that for the record. Consider the appointment of the next city manager, which is been selected as Robert A. Lopez, and direct the city attorney and Fred Wilson of Ralph Anderson and Associates to finalize an employment agreement for Robert A. Lopez as the next city manager, and direct the current city manager, Art Galucci, to take the appropriate actions for the transition of responsibilities and oversee implementation of other necessary and appropriate actions for the appointed next city manager, Robert A. Lopez. At this time, a roll call vote will be
Okay,
conducted.
Vita, we think you said staff recommendation?
Oh.
Okay.
Pursuant to
No, it's not staff recommendation.
Pursuant to the council's recommendation.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted. Council Agency Member Johnson.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Vo.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki.
Aye.
Mayor and Chair Barrows.
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 4-1.
Okay, Robert, it's now official for November the 4th for you.
Congratulations.
And Art, we now have a date certain that you can join Joanne and take that vacation you guys have been planning for quite some time. And Art, I think there's a save the date that's gone out, and I know it hasn't. These invitations went out for the official going away party for you for the employees is on the 13th, I believe, and 14th. More publicly. Okay. We will now move to, before we get to public comments, we have presentations. The first presentation that I have is for the U.S. national team, the 16th World Dragon Boat Racing Championships. And I need to get some reading glasses on. Dragon boat competitions under the International Dragon Boat Federation has developed into a serious high-performance competitive sport, with many associations producing national teams of elite dragon boat paddlers. The sport, through IDPF, has now spread to all continents, with nearly 50 million participants in China, 300,000 in the UK and Europe, including the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, and Russia, and 90,000 participants in Canada and the US. There is no other paddle sport in which 22 people work together to create a team This harmony of purpose can only be achieved through many hours of training in the boat and working together as one unit. This year's championship event took place in Pattaya, Thailand on August 7th through the 12th of this year. Teams from India, Iran, Canada, China, Philippines, Australia, and the United States, just to name a few, competed. Dragon Boat teams from the U.S. placed third overall, taking home 24 gold medals, 34 silver medals, and 15 bronze medals. The city of Cerritos is proud to recognize 3 Dragon Boat competitors from Team USA. Each member participated in a different age category, ranging in the 200, 500, 1,000, and 2,000 meter events. We have with us, and I'll call them up in just a second too, which is Alexa Lingad. She has 8 gold medals and 3 silver medals. We have Russell Lingad, has 7 gold medals, and Maria Lingad has 5 silver medals. And if you can join me over here on the side, please. Thank you. I was just sharing with them that we had another group here in the city called Blind Start, which we had a lot of blind paddlers, and I was very fortunate, along with several of the other council members, to go ahead and paddle with them. So we had a chance to learn a little bit what you do, but nowhere near the competitive level that you guys accomplished. But it gives me great pleasure on behalf of our city council and the city to recognize your achievements. So I have Alexa. Here's your proclamation.
Thank you so much.
And Russell. And Maria. And since I've done a lot of coaching, I had 35 teams here in the city. We don't get all the same things. Okay, and if you come up here, we can get a photo taken. Okay, we got more. Okay, and we're going to have the whole council come up also.
The national coach, Nathan Salazar, national coach.
In fact, we'll do that. Would you like to say something?
Yeah, on behalf of the athletes, thank you to the city council for recognizing them. Really appreciate that. And hopefully you guys also encourage the citizens of Cerritos to participate in the sport. It's a wonderful sport, promotes teamwork and camaraderie. And not only that, they get to travel. So they were just in Thailand and the Philippines winning those medals. Again, thank you. Thank you to all.
And next year it will be in Germany. Last 2018, it was in Szeged, Hungary. I happened to make it there. I watched the competition, but I didn't go to Pattaya because it's so hot. It's so hot, I cannot stand the heat.
Yeah, you're all invited to join us. Again, thank you.
Okay, I should point out that Becky was in charge of our finance division for many years. Okay, we also have a congressional certificate from Michelle Steele. And I'd like to pass this on to each one of you. So, Russell, I just have yours on top here. Throw your hands up.
Thank you so much.
And Maria. Thank you. And to get the last one.
I was gonna say something that Maria Margaret, the oldest granddaughter of mine, could not make it because it's a mid student in Las Vegas, UNLV.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and council members, thank you very much. I represent Assemblywoman Sharon Cook Silva. My name is Joe Pack, and this is wonderful to have 3 champions representing City of Cerritos and the U.S. national team. And you are really putting the City of Cerritos on the map. So that's wonderful. And I think the parents are here, so we should ask them to come down. Okay. So I want to make this really quick because I got to go eat dinner. Okay. California Legislative Sports Awards presented to Maria Margaret Lingard, USA National Team, in honor of your championship. On behalf of the 67th Assembly District, I commend you for your commitment to athleticism and representing Team USA. Congratulations on your successful journey representing the United States of America and placing 3rd overall place. Sharon Cook Silva, 67th Assembly District. Congratulations.
Thank you.
More the camera, please. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1 over the corner. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, before I call the council colleagues up, would the 3 of you like to say something?
It was a very great opportunity, and I hope the people of Cerritos can come join us soon.
My experience there was great, and I loved it. And there's so many things you can learn from Dragon Boat, and just the team all together was just so much fun.
I just wanted to say I'm really grateful to my coach and to my uncle, especially for introducing me to the sport. I've made a lot of friends, and it's a very nice sport to be in. As you can see, I'm pretty built myself, so it will help you with health. So thank you.
I have nothing to say, but I'm going to join the gentleman in his dinner. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you all. I'm so glad with my grandkids getting all those gold. Sorry I was not able to make it in Pattaya, but I will try to make it in Germany.
Becky, for somebody that likes to travel, I'm surprised you didn't make it. Okay, would you like to have your parents come up and join you for a photo? And I ask my council colleagues to come up also.
Show your medals. Show your gold medal. I'll take that. Russell, show your gold medal. Congratulations.
Get your okay.
Russell, show your medal.
It's short. Go in the bottom. Go in the bottom.
Oh.
Becky, you go stand over here.
Okay.
All right, everybody right over here. 1, 2, 3, 3, and one more. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you. Good job. Glad you made it.
Alex.
Success.
And then she'll try it again.
Yeah, we did a blind start, remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you very much, especially for all your time you put into it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So you want to do public comments first?
Okay, next on the agenda is appointments for committees or commissions.
I have.
Since we do have 3, we'll go ahead and open for public comments on this item. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comments, move to appointments.
Can I please make a please make a nomination?
I just asked Naresh to go first.
Oh, okay.
We are not going to overlook you.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have 2 appointments for the Alert Freedom Ring Committee. First is Leah Nash. She's a Cerrito resident since 1990 and has volunteered with many cause and community throughout around the city. In this recent years, she has been Neighborhood Watch block captain on the board of director of a Chinese Culture Association of Southern California, which operates Cerrito's Chinese School and related events, and does participate in Cerrito's Elementary PTA and Foundation, co-chairing the Reflecting Art program and volunteering the community pancake breakfast, international flavor of Cerritos Festival. Leah's involvement with the Cerritos Lantern Festival predates the city's involvement in the festival before it was originally adopted by the city. She was the part of the original team that helped the Being Festival to life, along with the late Lily Ko, who previously served on the Alert Freedom Ring Committee, currently council member, Changwon's Community Safety Committee member, Leah Nam, and the other involved residents. So I'd like to nominate Leah Nash for the Alert Freedom Ring Committee. You gonna do one at a time or? Okay.
At this time, we have a nomination from Mayor Pro Tem Solanki to appoint Leah Nass to the Let Freedom Ring Committee.
I'll second that.
We have a second by Mayor Barrows. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted pursuant to state law. Council and Agency Member Johnson.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Vo.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki.
Aye.
Mayor and Chair Barrows.
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 5-0. And congratulations. At this time, I can conduct the oath of office, or we can do that
Okay.
again.
Well, let's do it one at a time. One at a time.
Okay. Do you want to-
Yes.
I'm going to have you raise your right hand, and then you're going to state your name, so you're going to say I and then your name. And then always have the R at the end.
I, Leah Nass,
Do solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Do you have family you would like to bring and take a picture with you? Okay, next I have is the Daisy Lagaska, who was previously served in LUT Freedom Ring Committee. So everyone knows Leah, Daisy. I'd like to appoint a Daisy Lagaska for the LUT Freedom Ring Committee.
I'll second that one too.
And at this time, a motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Solanke and seconded by Mayor Barrows to appoint Daisy Lagaska to the Let Freedom Ring Committee. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted pursuant to state law. Council and Agency Member Johnson.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Vo.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanke.
Aye.
Mayor and Chair Barrows.
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 5-0. And at this time, I would welcome Committee Member Daisy Lagaska to the podium area to take the oath of office.
Daisy Mina Lagaska,
Do solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Your family would like to take a picture with you.
Okay, Frank, I believe. Frank, I believe you have a nomination now.
Thank you. I'd like to nominate, I will nominate for the Let Freedom Ring Committee, Cerritos resident Al Barlevy. Al Barlevy has been a Cerritos homeowner since 1999. And he has attended all but 2 Let Freedom Ring ceremonies since he became a Cerritos homeowner in 1999. And that's my nomination.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
And Vita, may we have a roll call, please?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. A motion has been made by Councilmember Yokoyama and seconded by Mayor Barrows to appoint Al Barlevy to the Let Freedom Ring Committee. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted pursuant to state law. Council and Agency Member Johnson.
Aye.
Council and Agency Member Vo.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki.
Aye.
Mayor and Chair Barrows.
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 5-0. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Committee Member Barlevy to the picture area. Thank you.
I, Alon Barlevy,
Do solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter.
I do.
Congratulations.
And the next item on the agenda is item 6 for public comments and suggestions. These are for items that are not on the agenda. And each person be allowed to speak up to 5 minutes. Vita, do you have any public comments from the internet?
And one moment, I do believe you have some blue cards there first, and then I will cue those that have registered electronically.
Okay. We'll start with the 3 cards that we have. We have Gordon Hom. If
Yes, I'm here to represent Shallow Park, and the reason that I'm here
There's no mic.
is that the tree policy for the city of Cerritos is detrimental to Shallow Park and its residents.
this isn't, I'm sorry, Gordon, we're trying to get the microphone to work. Okay, it's turned on now. We're trying to get our microphone to work for you, and I think you're now on.
Could you please give him his full 5 minutes? Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, yes.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, currently, the city of Cerritos has rules about trees, and they do not apply or have been detrimental to the Shadow Park Homeowners Association. The main rules is that we cannot trim the trees that we need to trim. Our trees are too tall. The residents complain about trees being too tall, the roots being invasive, and we're not allowed to remove trees as quickly as Shadow Park should. And so branches have broken off, hit people's roofs, hit their patios. Tree roots damage our sewer lines, our sidewalks. sprinklers, and anything else in the parkway. Our trees are too big for our parkways, and all this is because the word is we have a thing called hard pan. Hard pan dominates Shadow Park. The tree roots cannot go straight down. They remain on the surface, and so they go underneath sidewalks, and damage everything. So the other thing is, I do not feel that the city rules apply to Shadow Park. The city does not take care of our trees. The city does not, trim them. Shadow Park does all that. You will hear from other residents of complaints where the city arborist, who actually charges people for coming for requesting removal of trees. Shadow Park has the most trees. We have more than any other track. We actually regulate it more than any other city. In the city of Cerritos, most people take care of their own trees, and the city doesn't know that it happens. In Shadow Park, we know what people do to our trees. And so you're going to hear from other residents that those trees, the regulation is actually detrimental to Shadow Park. And so I'm hoping that you don't send this request to city staff. The city staff is all they're going to do is change the rules. Several months ago, we did have city staff redraw up the rules, but we never heard again from them. And so basically, just allow Shadow Park to take care of its own trees. We do it better, and you will hear from other residents of any problem. So we have to do it real soon, because with the next season of rain, when the ground is soaked, our trees are so tall that the wind will blow them down very easily. So I was hoping this would have been an agenda item where the board or the city council can make a decision, but I'm sure that they'll just send it to city staff. So thank you, and you'll probably hear other residents repeating the same thing, but just to emphasize the problem that we have.
Okay, Gordon, thank you for your comments. If I can get council concurrence that we have staff bring back a report based on what Gordon has said and what the others do share, so that we can take action, because we really can't do anything until it's on the agenda. Yes, sir. Yes, and everybody can talk.
Yes, I concur.
I do too.
Yes.
Okay, so that'd be the direction for staff to bring this back at an appropriate time. It's not too far in the future. Okay, next up is Norma Williamson.
Good evening, Mayor Barros and council members. My name is Norma Williamson, and I'm accompanied by my friend Manjula Ramanathan. We are both Cerritos residents and active in civic groups, and we are here tonight to express our appreciation for your unanimous vote to replace 3 of the male name placards on the Cerritos Library study rooms with 3 names of women of achievement. Our kudos to the city staff, who did a fantastic job in researching women's history and submitting a comprehensive list of female luminaries for your consideration. Among them, Rachel Carson, an environmentalist, Susan B. Anthony, a women suffragist, Ida B. Wells, an African-American anti-lynching activist journalist, Katherine Johnson, an African-American NASA mathematician, and many more female names for the public to vote on before 5 p.m. on Tuesday, October 31st on the Cerritos Library website. We also greatly appreciate Cerritos head librarian, Annie Hilton, for supporting and forwarding our petition to you. We are pleased that the City Council recognizes the importance of women's contributions and was willing to rectify a past social injustice in overlooking women's names. We encourage you in moving forward to look at your local ordinances and practices through the lens of gender equity. It would be good for residents to see a biennial report on the status of Cerritos women. How many women-owned businesses there are in the city, how many women are in top administrative city positions, and how their salaries compare to men in similar positions in our city government. We urge the City Council to continue to empower women and strive for 100% gender equity. To show our gratitude for your unanimous vote, we have a little token of appreciation, a Hershey chocolate bar in custom wrapping that says, "Thank you for voting for gender equality. Thank you for all you do." So if we can give this to the appropriate city staff, and you can share them as you wish. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Norma.
Norma, I just wanted to thank you for bringing this to our attention. We appreciate that you did and that we had moved forward. And I'm looking forward to the new names of the
I don't have to give it
the
to them,
rooms.
do I?
Thank you for bringing this to us.
I don't have to give it to you, do I?
I'm
Nor-
just keeping it all. I just got it. So.
Well, you can keep mine. I can't eat it.
Norma, I echo the thank you to you and your fantastic team in bringing this issue to the city of Cerritos and to the Cerritos Library and the City Council.
Okay, next up is Jerry Jensen.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mayor, the rest of the council. I think you know what I'm here for. It's for the parking by Gold Gym. I hope we've come to a resolution to the parking problem because it is horrendous still. I've always had this little analogy, I don't know if I said it before. A lady could have a baby in the time you've been working on this. So I just want you to understand how long they've been working. My daughter owns a shop over there. Yes, she does, a salon, and it's bad. I went by and talked to her earlier this evening, and I understand she talked to a gentleman with the staff. And I hope the resolution is taken care of. I went by Pioneer and Del Amo, and there's another gym there. And there are parking signs in that parking lot. I was there just this evening before I came here. I wrote down what it says. Violating vehicles will be towed away at vehicle's owner's expense. It has the sheriff's phone number. It has the CVC 22658A code number. 30-minute parking only. Only authorized vehicles will be towed away at vehicle owner's expense. So we can have signs somewhere. Is that in our city? I don't know. Is Pioneer and Del Amo in our city? So we can have control over it then, couldn't we? If it's in that parking lot, why can't we take care of it in that parking lot at Gold Gym? I don't know if it's been resolved. I'm just saying, I just went there this evening.
Okay, Jerry.
You can go look at the signs that are in there and
Okay, to answer your question, if we can stop the clock for a few minutes. Two things. It depends which corner, but I believe it's probably one of the corners I know is
on
at Cerritos.
west, see, it's on the east side, south side, or.
It is Cerritos.
Should be
and north.
northeast. Should be northeast.
Northeast.
Yeah, if it's northeast, it's in Cerritos. All the other corners are another city.
Anyway.
But anyway, to address it, it's private property. That's the first thing. It's
Well,
not
it's in the
city
park-
property.
it's in-
It's
you know,
not
it's in the
city
parking lot.
property. But anyway, Art, can we have staff, answer this?
Certainly, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. And I'd like to thank the father of the business owner. I talked to her. She was talking to me today, Daryl Evans, Public Safety
I
Manager.
believe so.
Yes. And so thank you. Actually, I went by both properties today, took a look. And what you're referring to is Crunch Fitness. And I do have pictures of those signs. There are signs up there with the vehicle code sections up there. But it is private property. And the bottom line is the owners of the property do have the right to tow vehicles. They'll have signs at the front that says, parking restricted for those businesses only. And the section that they actually cite there, which is 22658A CBC, is the vehicle code for private persons towing. And so it would not be the city or the sheriff's department. It's the owner of the private property who would say that vehicle is parked on my property and it's not conducting business here, as opposed to where Gold's Gym is. Those signs basically say restricted parking and have an hours. So they would not legally be binding because they don't warn anybody that their vehicle could be towed. So the bottom line is there's no citations that could be issued there on private property other than for handicap parking. And so if a vehicle is going to be towed, it has to be lawfully signed, which is to warn everybody that if you park here against the rules, it could be towed. And it would be towed under the authority of the person who owns that property. And it would be beyond what the city would be able to do. Now, as I mentioned to your daughter, there are some restrictions that would have to be with community development as to restrictions as to what Gold's Gym would be allowed to do for their business license. But that'd be a non-criminal matter.
Okay, if we can start the clock.
I just, that's a lot of verbiage. And I don't think that answered the question. Are we going to have some way to have some control over the parking in that parking lot? Because these businesses, you're talking about, that's a lady's business that is being impacted right now. You were just talking about that. They've been in there for 10 years. My daughter's been a beautician for 25 to 30 years. And the other lady is the same age, same business. There are a lot of businesses in there. I drove through there at 8:15 last night. It was 2 blocked. You know what that means? Full. Full. I know they can't park from 8 to 7, but all the parking spots were full. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I can't understand. There's something that should be done, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I hope that somebody can come some sort of resolution. Somebody that owns the property, that works with the customers around here, because there's a lot of businesses in that shopping center. And that includes Chase Bank and all of them. So I'll be back here again probably, unless we can get some sort of resolution. It just doesn't make sense to me. So you have a good night, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Jerry. Okay. Next, I have Carl Seltz.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. I appreciate the time this evening. My name is Carl Seitz. I've owned property in the city of Cerritos for the last 30 years. And I'd like you to be aware of a nuisance building on 166th Street and Parkside. It's near Norwalk. There is, on a regular basis, trash in the streets, illegally parked cars, and graffiti from one end of this building to the next. I have some pictures here that I'd like to send up. Now, Cerritos is a beautiful city. I love Cerritos, okay? But I don't think any of you, after looking at these pictures, could say that you're proud of this building. And I also have to say that I am the owner of that building. And for the last 5 months, I've been trying to get something done on that building. And I have to commend Daryl Evans over here, who has been very helpful in trying to get something done. But it has taken 5 months. And I wonder if there's someone in the city that can help Daryl. Because once graffiti starts, it's like a cancer. It has started on my building. It's across the street now. It's going down the street now. And once it takes hold, it never ends. So again, thank you, Daryl over here, and Clarence, and the sheriff, who I've also talked to. But if there is something more that can be done, I would really appreciate it. And it's not just for me. Someone can say, hey, this is your building, this is your problem. But once it starts, it'll start throughout the city. And you'll have it in the shopping malls, you'll have it over at the Sheridan, you'll have it everywhere. Once it takes hold, now you have a problem. Help me resolve this problem. So, Daryl, thank you again. Sheriff, thank you again. I appreciate it. Okay, thank you. But if there's anything that can be done to help Daryl get this thing solved, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, with your permission, I have some input for you. And so I'd like to also thank Mr. Seitz. We have been working with him. It is very frustrating. As a city, we have authorized some funds to paint that building, and we did. It lasted about 24 hours. I met with the other building owners over there who also routinely paint their building, and it lasts for about 24 hours. But also wanted to let Mr. Seitz know that I have been in touch with the security company that we have a contract for. I'm not sure if you're aware, we've been working for the last couple of months with Monroe Security. And so they've developed several devices for us that we're going to be doing live monitoring, that we now have the ability through 5G or Wi-Fi, that these devices will be hanging over the side of the buildings. They have 5 cameras. They're able to have a speaker, flashing red lights that's going to be monitored live at the Monroe Security Company, so that when people come out there and do graffiti, we'll be notified immediately. That signal will also be broadcasted directly into the sheriff's dispatch center. And so the deputies will be watching it live as well for any problem area in the city once this happens. And so I'm not sure Mr. Seitz knows. I sent him an email today, but I don't know if he received it or not. They did have a delay, but those devices are going to be installed on his building and the neighbor's building next door tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9:30, about 10 o'clock. So it's a work in progress. I've been working with the captain here. We have an enforcement plan behind that. Once it's live monitored, we're going to be sending deputies over there, staging them. So once that building is painted and the new canvas is presented, that anybody who paints it will be arrested and cited. And then what we're going to be doing here with Mr. Gallucci's concurrence is we're going to be involving the city prosecutor. So if the DA declines to file charges for the vandalism, we're going to seek recovery of our fees and efforts through the city prosecutor, through civil actions.
And that would include the enforcement part with the cameras and.
Yes, whatever the court would allow, but we would be seeking all the costs associated with that enforcement action.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions, for Daryl? Chung?
I do not, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Lee Natavidad. Okay, I don't see Lee. Teresa Lee.
Good evening. My name is Teresa Lee, and I have been a Cerrito resident for 30 years and a Shadow Park resident for 30 years. The reason I'm here is I want the city of Cerrito to know that as a resident in Shadow Park, I felt that there's a safety issue with our trees. Where I live, I happen to be in a house that's backing South Street. And so I have a wall outside South Street. This is outside. There's a big eucalyptic tree. And I noticed that I don't think the city trim that tree regularly. So it keep growing and it's getting top heavy. So the branches are hanging down. And I looked at it and I know that when the Santa Ana wind goes or when there's a storm, rainstorm coming, and you could see the branches swaying. And what happened if it drops down on somebody walking on South Street? What happened if the wind blow one of the branches and hit my roof or windows? I think it's a safety issue. And I'm not the only one in Shadow Park who has this problem. There are some other residents that has more trees outside than me. So I brought it up to the HOA because it actually blew and one of the big branch fell. I can't remove those branches, it's huge. It's a trunk. And my HOA responded very fast and they came in and took out the debris and the branch. That happened twice within 2 months. So every time I go to the HOA, they pointing fingers back to the city of Cerritos, saying that it's not that we don't want to trim the trees, city has a say, we don't. Here's my question, outside that patch where the eucalyptic tree sits, well, we pay for the HOA to maintain that. So why is it that our HOA cannot say that we need to trim the tree? So that's the reason I'm here today. I want you to think about this, and we're talking about city of Cerrito is a safe city, right? To live in. I'm inside my home, so it has to be safe. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Our next speaker is May Kwan.
Good evening. I'm a 44-year resident of Cerritos and love the city. I live in Shadow Park, and along with some of my other residents here, I'm very concerned about our large trees within our community, and not only in Shadow Park, but in Cerritos as well. As Cerritos has aged over time, I noticed that recently the city itself is taking action on removing many eucalyptus trees, many of the overly grown trees that are problematic. And I believe that Shadow Park should be given permission to take care of its own trees, which pose a problem to its residents. Many of our residents are walkers in the community in the morning and in evenings, and many of us have resorted to walking in the middle of the roads because it's the safest place. The sidewalks have been pulled up by the tree roots. There are many branches that come down on a windy day, and these are very large branches that can seriously injure walkers, children coming home from school, seniors who may take a little bit more time to walk and don't want to walk on the streets. Some of our trees are the big coral trees, which have very large trunks. And being a 44-year resident of the community, I've seen many coral trees just split, and a huge trunk would just come down and block an entrance or block the roadway. And I envision that happening one day as somebody is walking along. But not only the coral trees, but many of the fake pear trees are overgrown as well. They need major pruning. The trees in Cerritos as well as in Shadow Park are our biggest assets to the community. And I don't think that Shadow Parks HOA would take any action to jeopardize that treescape. So I believe that the city should allow Shadow Park to just make its own decisions, knowing that they will do the right thing. A couple times I've thought of the incident in Costa Mesa back in 2012. I looked it up again today, where a lady in a car had a eucalyptus tree just fall over, and she was crushed and she died. And so when I'm going through Shadow Park as well as the outside community, I envision that sometimes when on a windy day or during a recent hurricane that this may one day happen, and I hope that it will never happen, but the trees are very tall. They need some drastic care, and I know the city itself has done that on many occasions. There are many tree trunks that are waiting to be removed, and I think Shadow Park should be allowed to make the similar decision for the safety of its residents. Thank you.
Thank you, May. Next speaker is Angela Chen.
Hi, good evening. My name is Angela Chen, and I'm actually one of the board members for the Shadow Park community. One thing you probably are aware of is that Shadow Park community represents 394 homes within the city of Cerritos. So multiple families have come up here to discuss the same issue, and I'm no different, but I just serve as a voice within our community and represent that community to share the concerns with you as leaders of the city. What I am requesting is for you as leaders to allow us to be an agenda item in a platform that allows leaders to discuss this issue with us, to make change within the workflow and processes that govern the tree maintenance within our community. Being unfamiliar with the overall process and the legalities and the approval process. However, as a board member, I've been a board member for roughly about 2 to 3 terms. And consistently, we've had residents month to month come to our board meetings discussing concerns with trees. The prior resident that was here to speak earlier, and she mentioned the Costa Mesa incident, it had happened in our community. We had a tree topple over and crush a vehicle. We were lucky that nobody was inside the vehicle at the time. But we had to pay for fixing that vehicle as well as removal of the limbs. Our security has reported limb breakage almost on a weekly basis. We've got other residents sitting in this room that can attest to furniture being damaged within their private property due to limb breakage. Keep in mind that Shadow Park maintains its community using its own funds. And the tree maintenance costs for our community and the members of our community continue to rise annually, requiring the board to enforce an increase in the assessments, monthly assessments, year after year, and residents are questioning why these assessments increase year after year. It's due to the tree maintenance, which we do not have control over because city doesn't allow approval for a certain amount, more than a certain amount to be cut at a time. It's not only a fiscal issue, it is also a safety issue that we wanted to bring to your concern. Therefore, again, I am requesting that you allow a platform for us to discuss as our community, representatives of our community, to discuss with leaders of the city to allow change in the workflow process and procedures and approvals to allow us to govern our private property since we currently manage it with our private funds.
Okay, Angela? Angela, I don't know if you saw it earlier, but we did authorize to have it become an agenda item. Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is John Lum.
Good evening, Mayor and City Councilman. My name is John Lum. I've been a Cerritos resident since 1970. And I also resident in Shadow Park since 1994. So I've been in Cerritos for a long time. And I enjoy living in Cerritos. It is a safe place. And I brought up my family, and all the children grow up in Cerritos. And the reason I'm here today is also discuss the tree problem. Okay, I feel, Cerritos, is safe, but the tree makes me unsafe recently because it happened to us several times. One time, the eucalyptus tree in the back, I live in my backyard is shoemaker. And the wind blows so strong, the big branch broke off. And it fell into shoemaker right in the middle of the street. If it fell on my side, it will hit my roof. So I feel very unsafe on that. And another time, which happened recently, the wind blows pretty hard, and another branch fell in my backyard. And the landscaper and the gardener of the Cerritos come over to remove it from my backyard. So it damaged my property. Okay? So also every once in a while, and when I walk around inside the community in the Cerritos, and I feel I'm very unsafe because some of those trees can fall down. The branch can fall off any time. It could hit us. So it happened, like Angela mentioned, that the one tree fell and then damaged a car right next to the Cerritos clubhouse. So I'm very concerned about that. And since so many of us already complained about it, I hope the city can help us to solve the problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Our next speaker is Lisa Lum. Our next speaker is Lisa Lum.
She lost her voice.
Okay. Next speaker is Carol Kajunkam, if I said it correctly.
Hi, my name is Carol Kahukom, and I live in Shadow Park for 20 years now. 2 months ago, I called the city of Cerritos to request that the tree in front of our house by the parkway be replaced because a guest of mine almost fell flat on his face when he stepped on the uneven pavement in our driveway caused by the tree roots. The first thing that came to mind was, did I renew my umbrella policy? Well, anyway, I was told that the city is 3 years behind, so they cannot do anything yet. So I hope you will consider our petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Lou Colomo.
Hi there. I think we do have a serious problem in Shadow Park with the trees. I have 3 trees behind my block wall that are 70 feet tall, and whenever the wind blows, it makes a big mess. My neighbor has a pool with the same kind of trees, and it just kills the whole pool every time the wind blows. So I hope you consider Shadow Park taking care of their own trees. I think we can do a better job. Thank you.
Thank you. Carmen Aroso.
Can you hear me? I'm Carmen Eroso. I'm also a resident of Shadow Park for about 44 years. We have had this problem, this tree problem, for many years. My husband has been coming to the city hall requesting, permission to take care of these trees, and they say, okay, it is the homeowner association who should give you permission, and they did. And my husband keeps coming back here several times, and they say, oh, the trees are healthy. It's not that. The criteria for removing or taking care of trees are met, like safety issues, and if they causes damage to the property, So those are happening, especially during windy days. Branches had fallen, and it gets to be not only safety, it's also a liability issue. There are people coming to our house, and you cannot even sit in the patio because the leaves are falling down. Even if you have a gardener, after 1 or 2 days, your yard is dirty again because of so many leaves coming down, and we have to pay somebody to clean the roof because the home insurance, they demand that we clean our roof. We have to pay people to clean our roof of dry leaves because they get to be a fire hazard. So first of all, it's a risk of injury to people, liability issue on our part because of the falling branches, especially during windy days. So it's impacting quality of life for us too. So we hope that you can do something about this.
Okay.
Do you have any question for us?
Yeah, I don't think so. Carmen, thank you for your comments. And the last speaker on my list is a former mayor of the city of Cerritos, Sherman Cappy.
Well, hello, guys. You sitting up there reminds me of where I was 30 years ago. Anyway, I do live in Shadow Park, and I did come here to talk to you about the trees. I happen to back to South Street, as some of you know, and there's 2 giant eucalyptus trees behind my house, and they bend over into my airspace. And when we have a bad wind, I can see the trees shaking. So far, we haven't had any damage. We do get small branches coming into our yard, but so far they haven't hit anybody or there's been no problems. But the trees are getting bigger, and we want your permission to just let us handle our own trees at our own expense and not be as restrictive as you have been. But before I leave, I want to congratulate Robert Lopez on his selection to the city council, not city council, city manager's position. Gloria and I have known Robert for many of the years that he's been an employee here, and I think you guys made a good selection. I also want to thank Art Galucci, who's stepping down in November after 32 and a half years as city manager, and his handprints are all over many of the projects that you've seen in Cerritos, and I feel he came on to be city manager when I was on city council, and very proud of that appointment, and I think he's done a darn good job over the last 32 and a half years. So thank you, Art.
Might speak. My name was called, but
I was just getting ready to call you again. Okay. See, that's what happens when you walk out of the room. Okay. And state your name for the record, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lee Natividad. I have been a Cerritos resident since 1978. And currently, I'm the president of the HOA for the past 3 terms. And I just want to thank you guys in advance for giving us grace to help our Shadow Park residents with the trees. We just want you to really give us time and to devise a great plan where we have a synergistic relationship that we could move forward and protect the safety of our residents. This is your focus and this is our focus. I've been getting calls every day about the trees, about house colors, about everything in Shadow Park. And the one thing that I want to prioritize is a simple solution of the trees. We're talking about trees, ladies and gentlemen. I know you guys have other things to worry about, but if we could just devise a great plan to move forward, I sincerely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart because I do care about our residents, I do care about Shadow Park, and I do care about the city of Cerritos. So thank you very much in advance.
Thank you. No. Aaron, I'd like to point out one thing. We have a timer down here that floats. We have 2 timers. The one that floats at the bottom of the page covers up the names that are at the bottom of the list, which is why I missed a couple names. If we can have Nathan come up and speak.
He left already.
You did? Okay.
No, he did. I'm sorry. You're like a little ninja.
Was it for your friends? You wouldn't be able
comedy, to do it? Halftime comedy before we start. Good evening, City Councils. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I am a Shadow Park resident just recently, but I have in-laws that have been residents for about 10 years now. I don't want to repeat all the concerns or the comments that my fellow residents have brought forth to you, but like you said, we'd like to have you somehow expedite the process so that the agenda or the Shadow Park tree is part of your agenda so that we can have a meaningful discussion. The second item I'd like to bring up is that I'd like the City Council to look into the field situations at the complex, that's a sports complex. Those soccer fields right now, it's in pretty bad shape. They're not even soccer fields, they're dirt fields, right? I'm a parent, I'm a coach, my sons play soccer, and we play for AYSO, and the regional commissioner have gotten a lot of complaints from parents that the fields are unsafe. You know, neighboring cities like Lakewood, Downey, Cypress, they're putting in artificial turf fields because, you know, that reduces better maintenance. You don't have to actually maintain it. But the fields at the Cerritos complex, it's terrible. It's just dirt now. And it's a safety issue. And the sports complex, you know, it's only kind of public park or whatever you call it in Cerritos that has lights. And with winter season coming, it gets dark pretty soon. So we need facilities that are good and safe for the children, safe for the family. If we want to continue to call Cerritos the best place to live, we should consider, or I would like to appreciate it if the City Council could look into doing something with those sports complex fields. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. And the next speaker is Helen Hahn.
Good evening. My name is Helen Ahn, and I'm currently a board member for Shadow Park. I've lived in there since 1986. I've been dealing very closely with the tree issue. It's myself who's been interviewing and talking to lots of different arborists from different companies. I was also I'm also currently on a board for another Cerritos HOA called Parkside. And so I've had many years of experience dealing with arborists and the city and the removal of trees and maintenance of trees. Basically, Shadow Park has 1,016 trees. The majority of these trees were planted 50 years ago. So they're huge, they're lush, we have so much shade. It's a very beautiful place to live. The reason I'm here, along with so many others, is that we would like autonomy to decide which trees to remove and which trees to replace. And maybe some trees don't need replacing at all because we have so much shade and canopy. Currently, the city has a 1-for-1 plan. If we remove one tree, we have to replace it. I'm inviting all of the council members to come over to Shadow Park, do a drive-through with me. See if there's one place that you think needs an extra tree right now. I don't think you'll find one. Yet, we are backlogged and we're supposed to plant 25 more trees somewhere because we removed trees because they were sick or whatever. And there's 25 that we still need to plant. The issue is there's no place to plant them. I've spoken to many arborists that tell me, you guys have too many trees. There's too many trees. They're overcrowding each other. They're taking up space. It's not healthy. Some of these trees need to be removed. So this is why we need the autonomy. We need to remove some trees and not have to replace them. Then the city has come back to us and said, we need a comprehensive plan for our trees. Well, does the city have a comprehensive plan for its trees? I drive along Carmenita and I see crepe myrtles planted between canary pines. I see the Shoemaker overpass and that you guys have planted Bradford pears in tiny planters that are breaking. I see canary pines under telephone, electric poles that need cutting down. So I feel like the city doesn't really have a comprehensive tree plan, but to ask our HOA to have one, I think it's a little bit hypocritical. We spend a lot of money on our trees. We trim them twice a year. I don't know if Shadow Park wants me to say what our budget is, but we have the money to do it. But at some point, it just doesn't make sense to plant more trees. Not only is that the problem, the arborist, the Cerritos arborist, watches over every time the trimmers come. On paper, we're allowed to trim 25%. In reality, they're standing there like this and not letting us trim 10, okay? If you guys, all the city council members have nice looking hair. If you went to a salon and you paid $50, but you don't notice how much hair was removed from your head, you would be a little annoyed, wouldn't you? You're like, I didn't get my money's worth. Every time we have tree trimmers come and we pay $20,000, $30,000, we look at our trees and go, huh, did they trim it? We can't even tell. So these are just some of the issues that we're having, and I know that we've all spoken about this, and I really hope that you guys give us the opportunity to have a dialogue and exchange and let us have the autonomy that we would like to have to keep our community safe and beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. I also have Michelle Woke.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Wolf. I'm a resident here in Cerritos. I wanted to comment on, I think it was Mr. Seitz about the graffiti, and I just wanted to press upon you how important it is to eradicate all that graffiti, because like he said, once it does start, it's like a really bad thing. So, and then the other thing is regarding the trees. They're spraying a lot of aluminum and barium and cadmium that kills our trees and the root balls. There's a website, geoengineeringwatch.com or .org, I'm not sure, and it explains about the health of all the trees and stuff. So they've been spraying for 40 years, but that's it. Thanks.
Thank you. I don't have any other cards or names, but I see Bob Mary Buell. I think you came to speak.
My name is Mary Buell, and I want to congratulate our new city council. That's not what I wanted to say.
Yes, city manager.
City manager, yeah. Monday will be my husband's 94th birthday. And we should all hope that we can live that long. I only have a year to wait to be there. But I want to thank the council and everybody that works at City Hall for the 60 years that we have lived here and been in business here. Everybody on this past councils, Sherman can say, if he's still, no, Sherman's gone. And a special thank you to Art Gallucci. Art Gallucci, we've been here through every council person that's ever been in this city. And Art Gallucci is the best city council, or city manager that we have ever had. And we will miss him, and we want to give him happy traveling, because I know that's what he wants to do. We love him. And I think that's all I had to say. We've lived here a long time. We love the Cerritos. We love our business. We love where we live. And we have lots of trees. But we can trim them ourselves. And we do. So thank you very much for letting me speak. And again, congratulations on your new appointment.
Mary, thank you, and happy birthday, Bob. Okay. Do you mind if we... Yes, please. If you can give us your name when you get there.
Assuming I do eventually. Don't say it. Good evening, City Council. My name's Ralph Wincoop, and would you believe I'm one of those Shadow Park residents? But I would like to add a little bit of a different angle to the tree situation, because I have a tree situation and it doesn't have anything to do really directly with the tree. I'd like to put artificial turf in my front lawn. I'm finding that to be almost impossible. You would think that the City Council and the Homeowners Association would be very happy at anyone that wants to do that. Save water, save fumes from gas mowers, save noise from mowers and so on. Should be a big plus, and in fact, I think the city should actually subsidize it to some extent when homeowners want to do that. Well, I can't put it in because they tell me that I can't do anything in the parkway, particularly put in artificial turf. Well, because you see, that'll block the water from soaking in and putting water for the tree. Well, it's kind of interesting because artificial turf today is porous and doesn't block the water. Second, I don't even have any trees in my parkway. It's too small. Then I'm told that my artificial turf has to match the parkway. Well, excuse me, folks, I'm trying to improve the look of my house. So you're telling me I got to downgrade my artificial turf to match the parkway? Are you kidding? What the heck is going on up there with you guys? So I would like to be able to put in the turf without a bunch of hassle. But so far, I'm not getting very far. The Homeowners Association Architectural Committee tells me that I just can't do it. So I'm hoping that you can look at that in addition to the trees, because the trees are part of this issue, apparently. So could you take a look at this and see if you can't work out something with the rest of the homeowners like myself and give us some autonomy to do what we need to do? Because again, we're certainly doing a better job at trees than we generally see around the city. So thank you much for allowing me to speak without signing in.
Thank you, Ralph. Is there any other speakers? Seeing none, with council concurrence, I'd like to have us take a 10-minute recess. Thank you. Vita, can we have a roll call, please?
Thank you. A motion was made by Councilmember Johnson and I believe seconded by Councilmember Yokoyama to approve the consent calendar. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted pursuant to state law. Council Agency Member Johnson? Aye. Council Agency Member Vo?
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki?
Aye.
Mayor and Chair Barros?
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Okay, there are no public items under hearing under item 8, under item 9A.
Mr. Mayor,
And
members
we
of the
have
city.
staff report. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the next item before you, public new and old business, is an award of a contract. This presentation will be given by Lori, and she'll be happy to answer any questions. Lori?
Thank you, Mr. Galucci. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. The printing of the 2024 Cerritos Community Calendar was identified in the current fiscal year budget. The cost for printing the calendar was estimated at $35,000. Staff issued a public notice with a bid due date of August 30th, 2023, and received 3 bids. The low bid deviated from the bid requirements and was deemed non-responsive. The next lowest bid was received from Advantage Mailing in Anaheim in the amount of $45,566.09. Advantage Mailing has printed previous Cerritos community calendars, and its bid was found to be responsive. Funds are available in the Communications Division budget for the current fiscal year to cover the difference between the estimated cost of the project and the lowest responsive bid received. Staff recommends that bid number 1518-23 for the printing of the 2024 Cerritos Community Calendar be awarded to Advantage Mailing in the amount of $45,566.09. This concludes my presentation. At this time, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, yes, Mayor. Lori, what was the budget for last year?
So last year, we had budgeted $29,000 for the calendar, and the lowest bid came in at $35,000, which is why we had budgeted $35,000 for this year.
So it came higher than what we were budgeted.
Correct.
Thank
And
you.
that's due to
Price increase
the,
of it.
escalated printing, paper costs, mostly.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, we'll open to public comments. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comments. Is there a motion?
Move to approve?
Second.
Okay. Vita, roll call, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. A motion has been made by Councilmember Johnson and seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Solanki to approve the recommendation as presented in the agenda report. At this time, a roll call vote will be taken pursuant to state law. Council and Agency Member Johnson? Aye. Council and Agency Member Vo?
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki?
Aye.
Mayor and Chair Barros?
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Okay. Art, can we get a staff report on 9B?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, 9B is a request by staff for the opportunity to retain some chemicals for our water department. This report will be given by Dario and his staff. Dario?
Good evening, Mayor, Honorable Council. I'd like to defer this presentation actually to Jose Arroyo, our water superintendent.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. The city uses an additive in its drinking water system called polyorthophosphate. This additive is a blend of polyphosphate and orthophosphate, and it assists with corrosion control on our water mains throughout the city. This also helps to ensure that the city's water quality continues to meet the standards set by the state and federal regulators. The city recently issued a request for bids for the supply and delivery of polyorthophosphate in 55-gallon size drums. We received one responsive bid from Caris LLC with a price per drum of approximately $700. The staff has reviewed the bid and determined it to be satisfactory. Staff also finds CARES LLC to be fully qualified to fulfill the city's needs as they have supplied this product to us over the past 5 years. Staff estimates this contract to cost between $84,000 and $95,000 per year. There is sufficient funding in the current fiscal budget to cover these expenses. Also, staff has found this project to be categorically exempt under CEQA. At this time, staff recommends that the City Council adopt findings that the proposed contract is categorically exempt under CEQA, award a 2-year contract with up to 3 one-year extensions to CARES LLC for the supply and delivery of polyphosphate, and authorize the city manager to execute any project-related change orders in accordance with the city's adopted purchase and contracting policy. This concludes my presentation. At this time, Mr. Lopez and I would be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your report. Are there any questions? Hearing none, we'll go to public comments. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council on this item? Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close public comments and look for action from the council.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have 2 seconds. Vita, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. A motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Solanki and seconded by Councilmember Johnson. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted pursuant to state law, and this is to approve the recommendation in the publicly noticed agenda report. Council and Agency Member Johnson?
Aye.
Council Agency Member Vo?
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki?
Aye.
Mayor and Chair Barrows?
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Okay, next up is item 10 for legislative items. Do we have any reports?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor, this evening as it relates to these items.
Okay, thank you. We move on to report from the city manager under item 11A.
We have a report we'd like to give this evening, and just an update on something that we're working on. We want to do a little advertising and let the community know what's happening. This report will be given by Darrell and Drew. Darrell?
Thank you, Mr. Galucci. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I just want to make a quick advertisement, if you would, about the town hall meeting for public safety that's going to be held here in the city council chambers on Wednesday, September 20th. And just wanted to invite anybody who might be listening this evening to come down on the 20th. We'll be talking about national preparedness, crime trends, crime abatement strategies, noteworthy investigations, and Captain Drew Strong here will also be presenting some material as well. So that, again, that's going to be Wednesday, September 20th.
What time?
That will be starting at 7 p.m.
Here in the chambers?
here in the chambers from 7 to about 8:15. So won't take long, about an hour and 15 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions? Darrell, I wish I could attend, but I will be out visiting my sister up in Washington. Okay, under 11B, communication items from the City Council. Naresh, I'll start with you.
Thank you. I'm going to read again bio of Mr. City Manager Art Galucci. Art Galucci was appointed City Manager for the City of Cerritos in April 1991. Galucci, a more than 50 years of Cerritos employee, served as Assistant City Manager for 10 years prior to his appointment. A Veterans Public Administrator, Galucci was hired by the City of Cerritos in 1971. Galucci has been the city's top negotiator in major commercial and office development, including Cerritos Auto Square, Cerritos Town Center, Lincoln Station Shopping Center. He has been active in the development of all public facilities, including park, swim center, library, performing arts center, and a senior center. Other major projects for Galucci includes the development of Cerritos Sheriff Station, Community Safety Center, the Cerritos Library, affordable senior housing project, Emerald Villas, Pioneer Villas, Avalon at Cerritos, and Fountain Walk. The Cerritos Sculpture Garden and the upgraded Cerritos on Wheels service continue to expand its improvement upon existing development in the city, as it evidenced by the ongoing growth of Cerritos Auto Square, the Cerritos Sheriff Station Community Safety Center expansion, and Los Cerritos Center expansion. Mr. Galucci has been married to Joanne and is a father of 5 children and I think 9 grandchildren. So with that, I would like to have council consensus to look into naming Cerrito Park East to Arthur Galucci Park.
I have a question. What is our policies on naming facilities?
The policies can be changed because they have to be dead for a year.
Right. I didn't want to say that, but yes, I do
Okay.
know there's a waiting period.
It could be changed, no.
But we can change the policy in this case.
I see. Okay. So then what you're asking then, Naresh, is for us to change a policy
Yes, and have a consensus to put in an agenda and bring it back to us.
for changing of the policy. I agree.
Okay. And with that, if we can have staff bring back an agenda item for us to accomplish that.
I would like to do it while, Mr. Galucci is here, or, what happened to Mr. Edward, we named this after, but I don't know what the policy was, but I'd like to have,
It's a year. You have to wait a year.
so I'd like to change that.
Sherry, if it might be appropriate to ask you, because it's your park that you oversee, if you can bring the report back to us.
I'll do it as next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sherry. So your consensus, right?
I do.
Everybody?
Yes, very definitely.
Thank you. That's all
Okay.
I have.
That's it? Okay. Linda?
Yes, on August 30th, I attended the Transit Assessment Workshop provided by our consultant and our Community Development Department. Attendees provided input, and I look forward to a report back soon. August 31st, there was a moment of silence held at the Sculpture Garden in memory of those that lost their lives in the Cerritos air disaster on August 31st, 1986. On September 9th, I attended the season opener of Johnny Mathis. It was very well attended, and he gave an excellent performance. As a child, I listened to many of his albums because my mom was a very big fan. On September 11th, I attended the 9/11 Memorial event hosted by the Southeast Academy High School in Norwalk. It was a beautiful event, complete with the folding of the flag, timeline of that day's events, and the playing of taps. Students were not even born in 2001, and those students, I should say, were not even born in 2001, and I think it's really important that we continue to share the history of what happened to America on that day. That same morning, I was at the Cerritos Veterans Memorial for another moment of silence to honor those that lost their lives on that horrific day 22 years ago. I want to thank staff for the beautiful floral arrangements they had on display at both the Cerritos Air Disaster and the September 11th event. And this afternoon, I actually met with our Cerritos Chamber chairperson, Deepa Badwar, and President May Peach. I know I've been critical on the funding of the chamber, but I also want to see them succeed. If they succeed, then our businesses succeed as well. So we discussed many outreach opportunities for them to do, and I look forward to seeing it come to fruition. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Frank?
Thank you. First, I'm thankful to the League of California Cities and to the incoming president of the League of California Cities for appointing me to be the chair for the upcoming session of the Governance, Transparency, and Labor Relations Policy Committee of the League of California Cities. So I'm glad to represent our city as the chair of one of the policy committees of Cal Cities. Next, I had the honor of attending the inaugural 2023 Asian American Pacific Islander Leadership Summit hosted by the California Asian American and Pacific Islander Legislative Caucus Foundation on September 7 and 8, 2023 in Sacramento. I joined over 250 attendees ranging from local community leaders to state representatives from throughout the United States over the course of this two-day summit. I particularly enjoyed the conversations I had about the city of Cerritos with Tamlin Tomita, Congress member Doris Matsui, a personal hero of mine, and also with California Attorney General Rob Bonta. On September 6th, I had the honor of an invitation to meet with Consul General Sone at the Consulate General of Japan in downtown Los Angeles. I had a wonderful time talking about Cerritos and the Japanese community that the Consul General Sone is a friend of the Japanese Americans here in Cerritos and throughout the region. And I look forward to continuing my conversations about Cerritos with the Consul General Sone of the Consulate General of Japan. Thank you.
Okay. No, I haven't forgotten Chung. Okay, Linda, go ahead, and then Chung, I'll get to you.
My apologies, I forgot. I wanted to talk about, residents have reached out to me about their concern of coyote sightings. Although we cannot get rid of the coyotes, I feel that educating our residents will help them and perhaps safeguard their pets from the coyotes. The state of California offers Wildlife Watch, which is modeled after the National Neighborhood Watch Program. It's a program model that joins together local law enforcement agencies, private organizations, and residents to reduce crime and improve local communities. Wildlife Watch empowers local agencies and residents to address and resolve human-wildlife conflicts in their own communities. Communities are provided the support and training to develop integrated wildlife management plans specific to their constituent needs. Wildlife Watch is maintained by a network of committed agencies, community groups, and individuals who have completed the required training. Wildlife Watch's original focus was to address and reduce human-coyote conflicts in urban areas. As a council, I feel it's our duty to educate our residents so that they may enjoy a better quality of life for themselves and their loved ones, including pets. So I'd like to ask my council colleagues to support and ask for consensus to direct the city manager to work with staff on reaching out to the State of California Wildlife Watch, and perhaps maybe it can go through a community safety committee or whichever they deem is appropriate, and provide some educational program for our residents. And this is because of the coyotes. Do I have council consensus?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and, I think, having public safety, take a look at it. Would be the appropriate place to
Yes.
start.
All right,
Okay.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you too. Chung?
Thank you. I have nothing for tonight.
Okay. I have two items to bring up. Outside of attending, some of the same things have been mentioned, but Robert, this is really for you and Dario. I was sitting in the sanitation district, and Cerritos' name came up 6 or 7 times about how efficient our city is, how helpful they have been, for the sewer leaks. And they went through and explained what was going on, what they called the Artesia trunk line or something like that. That there was a hole that dirt was leaking into. The asphalt for the street started to collapse. You know, it looks small from the photos. Then how they replaced 20 feet of the pipeline and then repacked the soil in the street. And then they found another one 1,500 feet away. Then between the two distances, they put a liner in. And they I guess they're close to being done right now, right? And I see Dario shaking his head more than Robert. So, Dario, you must be up to speed on this really well. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate your comments. That is correct. The county, Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts, they have a regular program to go and inspect their sewer lines on a regular basis. As such, during one of the regular inspections, they did notice what perceived to be a minor, at the time, a minor depression in the asphalt. Upon their investigation, they noticed that their sewer line, a 24-inch line, was damaged and taking in soil. And so they immediately contacted us and obtained required permits to perform those repairs. You're very correct. There are about 20 feet of their sewer line needed to be replaced. And in order to safeguard the future of that line, they decided to line the pipe with a polyurethane inserted pipe. And so far, they are nearing the completion of all of their work. And they should, within next week, I believe, complete all the sewer portion of that repair. They will still also come back and restore the asphalt surface to its prior condition, if not better. So within the next few weeks, all of that work should be completed. We do ask for the residents' patience and the patrons of the mall and Target Center and the adjoining properties to be patient with the traffic control that is required in order to safeguard the safety during their work of the workers and of other commuters in the area. But absolutely, we have been working closely with Sanitation District and highly appreciate their promptness in repairing the line as they have.
I just wanted our residents to know that everybody's seen the signs around, for a while, and that the work is. They said the cost is going to be about $2.2 million. They don't have the final part, but at least it's not costing us any money. But the Joker heard from a lot of the elected officials from other cities is that Cerritos ought to pay for it instead of having it spread across the whole agency. But anyway, I just want to say thank you. And I want you to know that we had some very positive comments about our staff.
I appreciate it.
I want you to know the other leaks they had, I haven't heard the same comments about the other cities. And the next thing is Echo Rapid Transit, the Orange Line Development Authority, which started as the high-speed maglev train. Most people know that have listened and heard us. We've been involved in negotiations with the county. Things have turned out extremely well in that part, from our point of view. The county's very happy. But the agency itself isn't able to charge enough money, dues to make it operate. And the motion last night was to fold it back into the Gateway City Council of Governments, which is where we started. My first topic on discussion this way back when was there. And from there, SCAG and, we became a joint powers authority. We're in the process of shutting the whole thing down by the end of December of this year. And for that to happen, we have to have a vote of every city that's involved. It has to be a unanimous vote to stop it all. Otherwise, we'll have expenses going on to meet all the reporting that has to go on between the federal government, the state, and everybody else. So what I'd like to do is get concurrence to have this become an agenda item so that we can take action on this. And talking to Bill Urke, said we have to have a vote by our council to make this happen.
Is there a deadline?
Well, very definitely before December.
I concur.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I guess Art, it's still your baby. So between you and Bill and staff, if we can get a report, an agendized report somewhere in the very near future. I don't want to wait until December.
Put together.
And matter of fact, if we can have it before November, there's one more meeting by the agency, and I assume that this is where we have to have that vote. Okay. And feel free to contact the agency to confirm the dates, but so it does give us a deadline somewhere in the next 3 meetings. Okay, is there any other comments? If not, do we have closed session?
Mayor and members of the council, there are 3 items, but we haven't typically been considering those additional 3 items, and we did already consider and report out on items 12A and 12B. So unless the council thinks otherwise, I do not think there is any need to go into closed session for the additional items that are just listed on there.
Okay. See, no one's bringing anything up. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.